Hiprain and Jamada!
Hello everybody and welcome to the caster desk. We're getting ready to go into our first game of the day. This is Team Vitality versus SK. I'm Hiprain, he's Jamada. I'm pointing the wrong way because the camera flips, but let's get going. Jamada, what are our expectations coming into this game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm gonna say kind of roughly what Vidya said. SK have been very promising in the early game, but it's just the mid-game troubles for them, right? So if they can be a little more decisive in the mid-game, and I don't know what it is that they have to look for outside of that, if they can just close, that's all they have to do for me, and they'll be okay. For Vitality, it's been a bit of a troubled start, obviously. I think they had a really good day one. If they can try to replicate some of that, what we saw against Schalke, then I think they have a pretty solid chance of taking down SK.
Yeah, because it was interesting when we had a bit of a chat about Vitality before we got into the show. You were talking about their first game versus Schalke, and you know it was a very different playstyle from what we expected coming out from them. We kind of expected almost this Rhino comp where it was blind aggression, act then think, but actually it was a lot more calculated, it was a lot more controlled, and it was a pretty convincing win by Team Vitality. But we are getting ready to go into Champ Select. I'll turn my eyes towards what we expect to see picked and banned. Probably going to see Gwen, 100% pick and ban rate so far here in the LEC.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it might not be necessarily the most successful champion, we'll see whose hands it falls into, as here we are, picks and bans underway, and you know, still a lot of talk about some of the picks nerfed over the patch. I mean, Ezreal, not crazy surprised to see that one banned away ever since the Divine Thunder buffs has just kind of been pushed over the edge. Lulu, another champion that's certainly risen a lot in prominence recently, especially because of how we've seen her be used over in the LCK. Karma as well, another champion. Just some of these utility mages that just make the game so obnoxious to play out and even close out just through their utility alone.
Flexible picks, the Lulu and the Karma. We've seen them go into multiple different roles and be a real pain in the bum. The Akali also getting taken away. Understandable, it's been really, really dominant. And finally, the Nectans, something we saw at the beginning of today's show. A champion that has had a pretty strong presence in picks and bans. Flexible pick as well. And that kind of is the name of the game right now in the meta, is a lot of the picks in this meta are so flexible. You can move them between multiple different roles, but some of it isn't flexible, but it's still very strong, is that fresh support. So we're moving over to Team Vitality for their first pick. We've got things like the Rumble still left open. The Gwen is open. There's a lot of powerful champions right now.
Yeah, and I'd say Vitality likely were juggling between picking up the Gwen and the Rumble. They've gone for the Gwen in this case. We'll have to see who exactly it lands on. Of course, it's very, like we've just spoken about, a lot of flexible picks in this meta at the moment. But for SK, things like the Viego, of course, and if they want to just round it out with the Rumble as well, assuming they lock in the Viego, that could be a very powerful R1, R2 combination. So much prominence in the early skirmishing between those two champions.
They are going to take the Viego there again. Flexible pick, so we'll see exactly where that's going to be going. I would like to see a Rumble. I think you obviously deny the Viego going in the jungle by picking the Rumble up, but you do, you know, put yourself in a very powerful kind of first two champions. It does mean, though, that if they do go for the Rumble here, Vitality could maybe just look to a power bot lane right now and look to ban out whatever gets left open. So they're going to pick up this Tristana. Can go to Jezu, can go to blue. We'll see exactly what they want to go with.
Yeah, interesting. Because at least to me, I kind of consider the Varus one of the Varus, I can't because she got locked in. The Rumble, pretty much the strongest AP jungler on this patch. And it seems the LEC teams typically do take it. You could still see it here. Of course, you've got two potentially AD solo laners, but Varus, Tahm, Kench, very, very hard bot lane to lock down. And of course, into a lot of bot lane matchups can secure priority pretty easily. Varus still, after the nerfs, considered one of the best AD carries in the patch.
Curious what this final pickup is going to be actually here for the side of SK. Something like the Braum, it's going to be nice here. Obviously, works pretty well into the Tahm Kench. We've got a bit of safety to work with to kind of block out on these Varus arrows as well. And again, they haven't really revealed where that Tristana is going, as moving into the second ban phase here. So far, we're not sure who's going jungle, who's going where. This is a very open-ended pick and ban phase.
Yeah, I think if you're SK, you can maybe focus on the mid lane bans. That being said, you know, you might not necessarily have your own mid lane unlocked in if you're going to run the Tristana in the bottom lane. But for now, they are going to remove away leader's Silas, something that over the course of his playing career, he's had a lot of success on. And he's very scary with that champion. And Xin Zhao, actually, another champion which has been pretty present, especially yesterday. Just a really strong early skirmisher. There's not too many junglers in the meta at the moment that can actually match the amount of power that you can bring in those early levels. So not too surprised to see that one removed away from Treatz here.
I mean, we saw Dan on XL pulling it out to absolute, just incredible performance yesterday from him on the Zinzal. So is one of those really powerful champions, but we are going to see finally the Rise as the ban here. Bit of a target ban towards leader there.
Yeah, and again, Team Vitality really targeting the early game junglers that Treatz could potentially lock in. And I mean, the Rumble is still here if he wants it. Of course, Tristana could still end up in Blue's hands. Jenax could go up to the top side, and of course, Tristana still can go bot as well. So lots of options for SK on this R4 pick, as Sejuani being hovered. Of course, there was a fair amount of talk about whether tanks would slowly come back into the meta because of the jungle changes a couple of patches ago, and for Treatz, that is going to be the case now. Over to Team Vitality, it looks like, I mean, yeah, if it's still up, just snap it up. The Lucian and the Rumble, really powerful mid 2v2. Now it's over to SK to lock in their final pick. Tristana still very flexible. Of course, we'll have to wait and see as the timer ticks down.
It's going to be that final ban. We can kind of get a grip on what SK's comp is going to be looking like with this final pick up here. Taking their time to think it through, it is just going to be the Viktor for blue. So Tristana will be going down the bot lane with the Braum, Viego in the top side. How do we think these team comps are going to work out? Because to me, this SK, it looks a little bit more like a traditional front-to-back team. We're here with the Sejuani and the Braum at the front, allowing the kind of space to be bought for the Tristana and the Viktor.
Yeah, I think that's exactly that. You've got the Sejuani for your sort of, full frontal engage, like you say, front to back. Allow Viktor and Tristana the space to be able to get their damage off, and then eventually look towards Jezu to get some of those resets off. And over towards Team Vitality, I think it's definitely going to be more about the early game. When you've got the Lucian, you want to try and force priority. It will be a little bit difficult into Viktor once you sort of hit that level 6 mark, just because you've got the gravity field, and of course the ultimate can stop the culling, but the pressure still can be there, and Rumble's skirmishing power cannot be understated.
And it's really on SK. They need to show us a good performance, because so far they're 0-4 here in the LEC. It's not been a particularly great performance from them. And there's been signs of life. And this is a roster who there's a lot of expectations about. Leader, people have been waiting for him to kind of come out of the RLs for a long time. And it's on him to put the performance up. He's got a Lucian, he's got a dominant champion he's going to be able to play onto. But we're getting ready to go onto the Rift for our first game of the day. It's Team Vitality versus SK Gaming. And we're on to the Rift for our first game here of day 2, the LEC week 2. Vitality versus SK. And again, want to see some early decisions, early aggression from Team Vitality.
Yeah.
Or SK just setting up in a bush.
Setting up
looking
in a
for
bush.
a potential pick if someone gets a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, maybe waiting for Selfmade to drop a bit of an aggressive ward for information, but resets come through, and like you say, I want to see Vitality get a little bit aggressive in the early stages. When you've got the Rumble and you've got the Lucian in the mid lane to secure a lot of priority, you definitely want to see the two of them walk hand in hand into the SK jungle, especially when you're talking about Sejuani. She can be a little bit vulnerable to early invades. So hopefully for Vitality, they can get that ball rolling in that area. And I mean, for SK, I think they're probably going to look to play a little more static. Treatz, I would expect to pay as many visits as he can to the top side early on. One of the few melee lanes he's got to work with, but also has the Braum and Tristana, so it's not like he's got a lack of choice for lanes with setup and skirmishing options.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing I do want to kind of note here is that both Selfmade and Treatz are starting on this bottom side of the map, so they'll both be clearing upwards. So if Treatz does decide to go for a gank onto SLT, he will most likely be met here by Selfmade, and Selfmade's going to have a faster clear. So Selfmade will be there in the area a little bit earlier and be ready to set up for that. So it's going to kind of be on Selfmade to read the play, and Treatz also to prep for it properly. We are just seeing Leader getting a little bit aggressive with the level advantage over blue.
As you would expect, Lucian, over the course of the first couple of levels, definitely can take over this lane, and that's exactly what Leader's doing for now. And like you say, Selfmade going to have jungle tempo. I like this ward from Leader just to get a little bit of information on when Treatz actually passes through this area of the jungle. And Selfmade actually pathing over to the Raptor. He's going to try and steal the chickens away, and it will take him over to level 3. And meanwhile, Treatz is potentially eyeing up Leader, so he's hogging the top side so hard that I don't think a gank's necessarily going to be possible.
He's still going to show his face just to kind of force Leader off. Selfmade's already cleared out that chicken camp, so he gets away with that for free, effectively. His lead actually just going to feel it with a little bit more pokers. So a bit of a skirmish is breaking out. Selfmade lands the harpoon onto Treatz, and Leader gets chunked out pretty heavily by Blue's laser. I think that's going to be all she wrote on that mid lane skirmish. However, Jenax is moving down. We'll find out Selfmade and just spot him out with a ward.
Yeah, I think Vitality were potentially considering going even harder, but they don't have priority up in the top side. It's Jenax with first move on this Viego, so they have to pull the plug on any potential aggression moving forward. Leader's going to teleport back to the mid lane to make sure he doesn't miss out on that wave. And on the bottom side, as sort of expected, Varus with this Tahm Kench is getting the early priority down here, and looks like they're even going to pick up the Skull just to make sure that Treatz doesn't get it. So real nice work from the Vitality bot lane.
That's really nice because they're starting to really build up in the jungle an advantage here. Selfmade 25 CS to 17 on Treatz, obviously stealing away camps, and you know he can get a nice reset off here, recall as all his camps start to respawn up and just continue to clear and out farm Treatz.
Exactly that, and it's what you want to see from the Rumble, trying to hit that level 6 mark ASAP. Of course, the Equalizer is on such a short cooldown too, and I mean making ganks work definitely can get you to that point as fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, action looks to be breaking out a little bit here, but maybe he's going quite low enough to go down here, as that's going to be the jump out by Jezu to safety. Vitality just getting a little bit antsy, looking to try and start something here. As Selfmade's just going to force Treatz out of his jungle. I don't think there's too much kill pressure, but that was a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, just being a nuisance, and this is a big wave. I wonder if they'll try and force Jenax off it, or just outright dive him. I mean, Leader's on his way up here, so it seems like that's going to be the plan, and Treatz is about half HP, so he might not be the best of reinforcements here on this tower dive.
Yeah, they're going in straight onto Jenax. Jenax has got a teleport to back him up, but he's going down. First blood picked up by Leader. As Treatz now trying to lock down Leader. Will be able to do so for the moment, but Leader surviving. Treatz is almost dead, and it's a double kill for Leader. He's able to dash, he's able to dodge as Blue flashes the wall and secures an answer kill. But Vitality will just cook Blue down. Selfmade collects the third.
Yeah, it's a really nice move from Vitality to make this tower dive work. SLT originally had about the 4th wave crashing on him, and he's slowly been stacking up this wave for the last minute and a half. And Leader, again, off that teleport, regained mid lane priority. I think Blue was on a reset. Of course, teleported up to the tower, dive, but it was just a little bit too late. And as the gold is now up on our screens, engage, rocket jump forward.
It's so hard to punish this lane. They do manage to lock Labrov down, as actually Jezu almost gets a bit more damage taken out of him. He's going a little bit low. Jesiz now also on the run. Labrov going to force the flash out. As he flashes, he tongue lashes, and Crownshot snipes him. Yeah,
it's just one of the more obnoxious things about playing melee supports into Tahm Kench. She's just got so much damage in the early game, and of course it was Crowny that ended up finishing off that kill. But yeah, replay of the tower dive. They're very patient, Vitality, and that's exactly what they need to be to make this dive work. They have to wait for Leader to come up for the extra damage, and Treatz just tries to lock down Leader and just loses his life for it. Extends too far forward, and it's a very nice flash from Blue actually to secure the kill and maybe make it out, but he just doesn't really have anywhere to go. Selfmade burns him down in the overheat. And again, real nice execution from Vitality, and they now sit almost 3,000 gold up at 6 minutes in.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we wanted to see out of Vitality. We wanted to see this comp be aggressive. We want to see them get ahead and look to snowball the lead. In their first win, and their only win at the LEC so far, it was a game where, you know, they got ahead and then they played it controlled. They didn't overextend, they didn't get too greedy. And so far, Vitality doing that. It's a matter of can they keep it up. Dragon is up on the Rift, is a Cloud Dragon, and so far, it is Vitality who've got the vision in the area to set up for it.
Yeah, but at the moment, Selfmade is pathing up towards his top camps. He is just hit level 6 though, so potentially expect him to return back down to the bottom side relatively soon. Missed by Blue. But didn't interrupt the culling initially. So it eats a whole bunch of damage for it. Very nice from Leader.
Yeah, Leader starting to try and run away with this lane. He's got a 17 CS lead over Blue. He's got himself the Noon Quiver, a Coal, to just a Ring, a Corrupting Potion, and an Amp Tone onto Blue. So not the greatest laning phase for Blue right now. He's struggling a little bit here versus Leader, but Leader was obviously able to get those first 2 kills, including First Blood, in the top lane.
Yeah, got the extra stats. I imagine, actually, I didn't quite catch it in the replay, but Blue may have missed the wave. I imagine if Leader rotated up to the top side, it would have been because he had lane priority, and Blue did teleport up, so he may have missed some XP as well. It's definitely showing as the CS lead continues to grow in the mid lane, but for now, Selfmade potentially eyeing up something in the bottom side. I mean, Jez is a little bit out of position here.
I think he might be in a whole world of hurt. As the Equalizer, the chains are enough to secure the kill. Crownshot kind of giving the easiest kill of his life there.
set up again by his team, and then, of course, Chains of Corruption to make sure that Piercing Arrow doesn't miss. And Vitality, they're not immediately going to start up onto this Dragon because Selfmade more interested in this blue buff, but he doesn't have Smite, and Treatz does. So I think Treatz might end up taking this one away, though. Vitality in the area. No one's got the CC to lock down Treatz, so he is going to walk out with his own blue buff.
With him being forced away, Selfmade now feeling the opportunity to go for this Dragon. No Smite on him still. Treatz is also still around, trying to see if he can set up onto Leader. Leader has to be so careful as the Gravity Field is used. Treatz does have the ultimate, but I think Leader's going to be pretty okay to be able to get away from this one. And Vitality will secure themselves their first Dragon of the game, 8 minutes 30 in. This gold lead is starting to balloon, 4,000 gold up.
Yeah, 4,000 at almost 9 minutes is not a great position to be in if you're SK. Or just any team really has. Oh,
Good Heartbreaker by Jenax, able to just about dodge away on the needlework from SLT, but that is starting to get a little problematic. All of the lanes for SK just not in the particularly great form as SLT. I think he's got kill pressure here. Not going to go for it yet, but just wants to deny the way from Jenax.
Yeah, it's a little bit too risky. The pot started to tick up as well, so got a little bit more HP back, Jenax did. So SLT, just a little bit of restraint there. But total gold, you can see Leader really taking over those 2 kills and the assist. Really propelled him quite far out ahead, and it's, again, continues to show in the CS lead the pressure he's putting down onto blue. As the side lanes of Vitality kind of get to play free reign, because they know there's never really going to be too much threat. And Leader should always have first move down to the side lanes if necessary.
Pretty much every time is a lot of these kind of big components are coming in. You've got the alternator onto Selfmade, along with a blasting wand as well, so kind of want a bit of a spike here as blue. And Leader going to go for a light trade, but there's the Chaos Storm, and Treatz is coming in. Great prediction on the flash. The Equalizer will not save Leader's life, and blue will secure a shutdown, but Selfmade's not done yet. He's going to flash forward and toast himself one, making it for a second, but Treatz able to flash to safety.
Yeah, balls on the menu for Selfmade, but he couldn't quite finish off Treatz as well. Really sick flash prediction on the Glacial Prison from Treatz to lock down Leader for that kill after the flash, and Jezu potentially getting gobbled up here.
Yeah, he has to find him out into the Glacial Fissure, but able to jump away. Great buster shot there as Crownshot, Prowler's Claw over Jesiz and secures the kill. Jesiz now on the run. I don't think they got what it takes, but actually, no, they're going to chase. They're going to come for the flank. Labrov leaves his AD carry all alone, and Jesiz is trying to get the lockdown, but Leader is coming in for the backup. And that is going to be one Braum in a terrible position right now. Labrov will eat a tower shot, and that might just enough to save the day. Jezus able to survive.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. Jezu, I think, just stepped a little bit too far forward. Labrov, the recipient of that gank, can now Treat to get an action in the top side. Try and lock down.
Yeah, he's getting locked down. Leader works there. Got himself a Hallowed Mist. He can try and jump away, but the lockdown's there, and SLT secured himself one. Looking for another. Giving the members of SK a massive haircut. Taking out Jenax.
Yeah, and Herald right on top of that straight away. So an even bigger gold lead about to be accrued for SLT up in this top side. And it's an absolute disaster of an early game for SK. They're losing across the board right now. 610 gold, plus I think an additional plate shared between SLT and Selfmade as... Oh, did he steal away the...
I didn't actually see that. I totally missed that. But let's have a look at this action in the mid lane here.
Yeah, so I mean, Leader just a little bit too aggressive. He's playing without that much of it. He's not got a lot of vision to work with here. And the Glacial Prison, it's just a great prediction from Treatz. Flashed into by Leader, unfortunately, and Selfmade is here in the area, immediately takes down blue and almost burns down Treatz here with the overheat auto attacks as well. Just didn't quite have enough damage, unfortunately, for him, but still in the right place in the right time to retaliate.
And look at this, the items are now coming in for Vitality. They got a Riftmaker, they got a Night Harvester, they got a Kraken Slayer and a Prowler's Claw. SK, on the other hand, not a single item finished up. The gold lead is massive, and we're only 12 minutes in. Plates are still up, and they've secured first Tower Blood in the top lane. There's 3 plates down in the mid lane, and I can't quite see how many plates. Thank you. There's 2 plates left to take here. As the chains come out, an arrow's going to connect in. Oh my lord!
Yeah, that's a nerf Varus, by the way. I think if that was... this is 11-11, I think Jezu would have died right there. So,
that was horrible.
Yeah, that was a whole bunch of damage. It's just... Yeah, there's not a lot of counterplay in this lane sometimes, especially when you fall this far behind, and Prowler's Claw, like we just spoke about, all of the core items already in for Vitality. Just gonna kind of have to sit back and do their best to stem the bleeding, but I don't even know where they can even realistically play towards to potentially even claw back some gold in terms of cross-map plays because they are just that far behind.
It's starting to get really problematic here for SK, and I think they are looking to try and jump onto SLT, doesn't realize he's on the ward, goes for a quick skip and slash, and the Harrow Mist will give him a bit of resistances, and SLT able to get away from that one, didn't have to burn anything either.
Yeah, just the power of Gwen, a lot of mobility, the untargetable as well, or spell immune. As Vitality, they're on their way for a 15-plate game, though they could be getting too aggressive on this one.
There's the lockdown by Treatz. Labrov's coming in to save the day of Leader. Leader able to jump away, puts out the culling as the equalizers lay down, and SK are getting cooked. Laser beam comes out from blue, not going to hit anybody, and SLT should just be able to snip through this minion wave.
Nice potential engage on the back half, but yeah, again, Treatz, nice glacial prison rather, to try and lock down Leader, but the eat was there, the devour was there from Labrov. And this Ocean Dragon's up. You can see Vitality, they're pushing quite far into the jungle already. They don't quite have the mid lane tier 1, but once these outer towers start to drop, I imagine Vitality will start to push their vision lines up even further into the jungle, as Leader actually just finished up his call, so 350 gold in his pocket plus that first tower. Didn't quite take it down within the plates. Neither him or Crowley actually. Crownshot. Just a little bit short of that. SLT's feeling himself.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Has to be somewhat careful as Jenax is in the area. That's just holding the wave here, trying to deny SLT.
Yeah, so Jenax doing the right thing, trying to freeze the wave up here to deny SLT as much golden experience as possible. Though I think on the next cannon wave, which is actually this wave right here, it should actually start to still push back out. So don't think you can hold that one forever. Yeah, there you go.
I would like to just watch Crownshot one-shot Jezu here. Arrow goes a bit wide and Jezu able to survive, but there is a hungry catfish coming in as a lick. Jezu able to get away thanks to Treatz, but actually Labrov is just chasing him down, and the arrow is enough to secure the kill. Treatz has to jump the wall. Vitality get himself their 9th kill of the game. I'd like to have a look at the individual gold just to see where it all is kind of spread out right now. That bot lane is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the footnote is everybody has a gold lead right now in this game for Vitality. It is a bit of a knockout performance right now, and I'm kind of glad to see it because, you know, we saw a very strong performance on day 1 from Vitality into Schalke. It was very by the books, and there wasn't really that much of a response for Schalke on day 1 to actually have. And now SK in a similar position. Crownshot forced the flash.
Is able to disengage as they try to turn it around onto Labrov, but a great equalizer just to cook through them as the Glacial Fisher lands onto a couple of members. Selfmade hops over the wall to join up the rest of the team, and SK don't lose anybody. They are just going to have to be sent packing back towards their base to heal up. Got 3 minutes until the Dragon's coming up. We've got 2 Dragons already picked up onto Vitality, so we are looking towards this Infernal Soul here. And honestly, with the gold lead that they've been able to pick up, I actually think an early Baron is definitely on the cards for Vitality, but for now, SLT has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 2 AD carries. Yes, Crownshot, of course, is playing the Valée Varus, but he's at 2 items and so is Leader. So once this Baron does spawn up, genuine threat that it gets taken down within the first few minutes of it being up. And I mean, SK at this current game state and gold deficit, they just don't really have the tools or the items ready just yet to even contest them at these neutrals. So even come the 3rd Dragon, I tend to talk a lot about the 3rd Dragon being kind of a, you know, a tone setter for the remainder of games. SK probably won't even contest it, just because they're that far behind. And again, they've just kind of got to sit here and wait. Try and see if Vitality make an unforced error. Of course, Crownshot now doesn't have Flash and he doesn't have Cleanse, and Treatz has been pretty on point with the Glacial Prison so far. So it's going to have to be that, most likely for SK, as it's their only true form of immediate frontal hard engage.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give it to Treatz. Treatz has been very on it with these Glacial Prisons, constantly landing it onto the right targets, predicting flashes. He's been on point.
He has. But however, Selfmade is 2 levels up on Treatz, unfortunately, and he is taking the second.
We can't have it all.
Can't have it all.
We can't have it all, Jamada. Now, yeah, as you were saying, Rift Hour's gone down. We were talking about an early Baron, but we are still 3 minutes away from a Baron. And Vitality, quite happy to pick themselves up this Rift Hour. They can use it to score, to basically secure Prior wherever they please. Jenax just going to get forced off this tower as SLT gives it a couple of snips.
Yeah. And, you know, normally when you see a 2nd Dragon picked up, it's usually used for a Priory, like you say, to secure somewhere some pressure so that
hold on.
contest the Dragon.
And this is going to be enough. That's a good equalizer. Selfmade's coming in onto the flank here. The arrow will pierce through, but a great stopwatch by Jesiz will only buy him time, as Selfmade will secure himself the kill. SK are going to be sent back, but they're not looking to give up quite yet. That's damage coming in from Crownshot is disgusting. And Treatz is slowed. Treatz is ignited, and the arrow will not seal the deal. Treatz able to survive.
Yeah, that is funny because I wanted to say they might not even use it at the third dragon. They might try and find a fight and then look to capitalize huge on it with the Herald Got leader in the bottom side, which took down the tier 2 down there. Blue, just another massive piercing arrow. And the hail of arrows too, so he's going to be forced back. This is a really early potential inhibitor tower going down. And I mean, they're at such a lead, I don't think they should necessarily take the inhib just yet. Yeah, I think that's a smart decision from Vitality. You don't want to funnel in too much CS through the mid lane. You still want the lane to sort of be neutral in the sense of, you know, they're spawning the same creeps. You're not going to have automatic priority and you're not farming super creeps permanently if you're SK. So good restraint from Vitality and reset coming out from, I believe, Selfmade and the rest of the crew. Likely to just go and play towards this third dragon, which SK, I don't think they have any business going down there to contest that 13,000 gold deficit. It's not the place you want to be right now.
No, not at all. Dragon spawning up in 22 seconds, like you're saying. I just don't think we're going to see anything here. I think Vitality are pretty much guaranteed a free dragon here. And SK, what do they need to do? Because we're 19 minutes in,
look,
we're like a disgusting gold lead. I'm not even going to do the maths off the top of my head, but it's big.
Look,
what do they need to do?
I'm a caster, not a miracle worker. I don't know, man. It's this is a bit of a gold gap right now. As individual gold on our screens, you can kind of see 3,000 in the jungle, 1,200 or 500 in the top side as Jenax forced out. Yeah, nice Heartbreaker and Flash. And I mean, it's just everywhere. There is just several thousand gold in the pockets of every Vitality member. The third dragon of the game, the Infernal Dragon, being taken by the leader here by himself. I mean, SK, Jesiz and Treatz are here, but I think they're just waiting for leaders to potentially show up now. He is kind of chunked out. And I wonder if they're just going to go, yeah.
Leader gets caught, he gets clipped, he gets locked down. This is going to be the end of days. The kill is gifted to Blue, a massive shutdown in his pocket.
Yeah, real nice for Blue to pick that one up as well. Leader at the moment, all 3 of Vitality's deaths. As it's mostly been because of Treatz, actually. In his valiant efforts to lock down the Vitality mid laner. As Vitality now themselves are on the top side, taking down the final tier 2 tower. And once this one falls, you expect them to just play towards the top side. They've got 5 minutes until that soul spawns up. And I mean, SK just aren't in the position to really do much about it. Again, it's got to be unforced errors like we saw from leader in the bottom side, but it's going to have to be about 5 of those in a row. And then some, potentially at this kind of gold deficit. So it's really just on Vitality to close this one out as cleanly as possible.
We want to see a clean game from them. For now, early Baron, as we predicted, is going to get picked up. I just don't think SK have any way to really try and stop this. Labrov is just going to zone them. 50-50. Goes in for the blast cone. That was really big, actually, as the Baron is secured and Treatz actually queued forward. He went for the Arctic Assault forward, and then the blast cone was used, so there's no way into the pit. He had no flash, he couldn't get in there. Baron secured at 21 minutes for Vitality. And SK now, they are against the wall, well and truly against the wall.
Yeah, I think they've been on the ropes for a while now, Hiprain. With this Baron buff, it's just gonna make the issue even worse. As once Vitality return to the map, you'd expect them to just sort of spread out this Baron buff, take down that mid lane inhibitor, probably try and spread out this Baron buff like we're saying. And I mean, SK, in the terms of wave clear against the Baron, so early on into the game, they don't really have much. So it's just gonna have to try and, they're just gonna have to try and find a snap engage. That's the only real way they can find an in my opinion. It has to be somebody isolated. I mean, leaders been isolated a couple of times and they've capitalized on it relatively well. But at this point, I don't know if Vitality are gonna make the same mistake again.
Selfmade just burn the equalizer, but it's on a relatively low cooldown, so not the end of the world for them. Just forcing SK back, and now the 1-2's breaking out. They do look to pill in one. Treatz is already very, very low, and leader with a great culling almost takes him out as SLT able to secure it with the needlework. Tower gonna get taken out here. Inhibitor will probably next to fall as well. Vitality, it looks like they've just done it. They look like they've got what it takes to be able to take this game, as the chains will land, and that will be the end of Blue. SLT trying to zone them away for the moment, but he's going to jump in. Got the needlework. Jesiz just gets absolutely popped. The flashes have to come out. A double kill for SLT. A snipe on the needlework. and only Treatz is remaining here. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. Baron on the pocket of Vitality, 23 minutes on the clock. And they're going to be able to take down FK in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, I think that might now be our fastest game of LEC Summer 2021 so far. Of course, we had the quick stats segment earlier on, which that was a question. But yeah, real nice from Vitality. And I mean, especially when talking about, you know, Selfmade and how he was very critical coming out of yesterday and the previous performances out of week 1. Much better showing for Vitality. And again, I mean, for SK, we said early game, that was kind of their strong point. And that was when they flourished. But this game, they just didn't really have the opportunity. They didn't have the priority lanes. They had nowhere to really go once they started to fall behind. And unfortunately, without the sort of comeback mechanics in their kits from this draft, Vitality just rolled them over really easily.
Well, if you want to vote for your Kia player of the game, head over to LEC on Twitter, and you can vote for either Selfmade, Leader, or Labrov. One of those three is going to be your player of the game. Jamada, who do you think took that?
I mean, Leader's a bit of a tough call. I think Labrov had some really, really critical eats for me, so I'm going to lean into Labrov.
He had a really, really good game, actually, making sure that, you know, they were able to get incredibly fed. Anyway, it's time for us to toss to a break. When we're back, we'll have Laure standing by with Labrov for an interview, and then we'll be going into game number 2. See you in a moment.
Systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Helm. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Welcome back to LEC Summer Vitality take down SK Gaming in a very dominant fashion. And Labrov, I mean, it was the biggest gold lead we had so far in summer, almost 10k gold lead at 15 minutes. What do you attribute this victory to? Was it more the draft, in-game plays? Talk me through it, please.
I think it's kind of both, I would say. We had a really good draft, and we just played well, I guess. So
all right.
That's how the game is supposed to go, I think.
It is indeed. I was talking to Crownshot before the game, and he was telling me that you're getting used to new players, new style, new drafts. So far, where do you feel more comfortable in terms of draft and meta? What suits you the best?
Assassins, I guess, because of leader.
That's a given, yeah, of course. We don't hope for meta change here. But you've been with Vitality for a couple splits now, and things haven't always looked good for the team. But I mean, you brought in 3 new players. That's a lot, actually, and a new synergy to work on. I mean, what does it change for the team, the fact that you now have these 3 players, including a rookie, actually?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere has changed a lot. We are a really new team than the previous years. And yeah, we are working super hard to become a top team.
Yeah. Did you change the way you're working? Because you also changed coach, so maybe you have different work habits now?
Yeah, we changed the way we review and some other small in-game stuff, I guess, as well.
All right, well, I guess it's working for you so far. 2 and 3 in the LEC, if I'm not mistaken. Talking about this team, what makes you think that this will be the iteration of Vitality that will get you to playoffs?
I think everyone's... if everyone plays super well, I think we can for sure make playoffs and even become a top-tier team. I think everyone's a really good player individually, so I think we have good chances.
All right, individual mechanics will work for you. Well, Labrov, thanks for these insights and congrats on taking down SK Gaming today. Good luck next week in the LEC.
Thank you, merci.
And we're going to take a break now. We'll be back in a couple minutes with Misfit versus Astralis. Stay tuned.